Welcome to EMAC Regional 2021 podcasts. The show is dedicated to present research results of Polish scientists as authors or co-authors of papers presented during the Regional Conference of European Marketing Academy. The regional conferences are aimed to attract researchers interested in marketing issues, in changing and growing markets, and regarding a regional perspective. The project has been supported by the Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange under the program Welcome to Poland. My guests are Dr. Anna Rogala and Professor Renata Nestorowicz from Poznan University of Economics and Business, authors of paper Ready to Act and Up for Sustainable Food Behaviours, a study of the attitudes of Polish consumers. Thank you very much for being here with me and accepting my invitation to this project. And I would like to start with first question. What is sustainable consumption and sustainable food consumption, and why is this an important problem to study according to you?
So first of all, we can analyze sustainable consumption from two different perspectives. So we can analyze the sustainable consumption in terms of your personal consumption. So this is the consumption which meets your basic needs and provide you with a better quality of life. And on the other hand, we can analyze sustainable consumption in terms of its impact on the environment. So this is the consumption which ensures that future generations' needs will be met. So we assure, but by our sustainable consumption, first of all, our needs and the better quality of life, and on the other hand, the future generations' needs to be met. In terms of food consumption, sustainable food consumption is characterized by a reduced consumption of meat and dairy products, which has a severe impact on environment, and increased consumption of fruit and vegetables. And when we talk about sustainable diet, this is a diet which is characterized by low environmental impact, and it contributes to food and nutrition security and healthy life for our generation, for ourselves, and for the future generations as well. So, in our opinion, this problem is very important to analyze in terms of encouraging people to be more sustainable in terms of their food consumption, because food consumption turns out to be closely connected with our well-being. So we actually started our journey in this area of research with analyzing subjective and food well-being, and it turned out that both are interconnected, and people who perceive their food well-being as higher, they perceive also their subjective well-being as higher. So we were trying to find out how we can make people more happy with their food choices, and at the same time how to make them more sustainable in terms of their food consumption. So we faced, like we can call it, two challenges. First was that food that is perceived as healthy and as sustainable is not perceived as a happy choice for a consumer. So it is like that every day we have this challenge that we have to pick up between being healthy or being happy. So our first challenge in our research was to make those healthy food choices the happy choices for the people. And the second thing was related to the well-being of the earth. So this environmental impact of consumption, because we must think about not consuming the earth while consuming food. So we wanted to encourage the wise choices in terms of health, both humans and the earth. So the second challenge was to make sustainable food choices the user-friendly choices. And because the mobile applications market is growing and people use more and more applications, we were thinking how to connect the dots and how to make the use of the popularity of mobile applications in terms of using them for promoting more sustainable consumption of food.
Okay, so what research methods did you use in your study?
So we conducted our research in 2020, and it was online research. In this research participate 600 Polish internet users, and the sample was representative for Polish people aged between 18 and 54 years old, and it was representative for level of education, of gender, and place of residence. And we use different scales. We wanted to prepare scales for food behavior and for using of new technology. So we use short food literacy scale and the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology. And when we say about Statistica, we use the one-way analysis of variance and different tests, for example, Post-Hochberg's test and Games-Howell test, but I think it's not very interesting. The kitchen of our statistical methods, the results are much more interesting.
Okay, so what did you find? I thought that this kind of application are mainly used by young people. So could you support this, my opinion, or maybe I'm totally wrong?
Oh, the age wasn't so important than other characteristic of our respondents. We wanted we wanted to say if the stage of change for green eating is important for using different application. And we can say about 5 stages for change for green eating. The first stage is the stage which name is pre-contemplation. So in this group where people who don't think about changing the dietary patterns, it's not important for them. And the second part of people are contemplation group. They wanted to change something, but they don't sure if it's necessary, it's good for them. The third group and the fourth group are people who wanted to change, and the first part they wanted, but they don't know how to do it, and they search for some new methods, for some techniques, and for application. And the second part of them was action group. So they wanted to do something and they started to do, but they find difficulties on this way. The two groups are very interested at using the application. The last group, the group which we can say it's maintenance, they did something, they manage the changing, and they are happy with the place when they are. So they weren't so interesting in the application. So I said preparation group and action group. It's about a half of all respondents. They have decided to change their eating patterns and they need something to help in the new way of living and eating. And they wanted to use different kind of application. And what is important, the application is not the thing which can say it's a new good way for you. You can change your life, your eating patterns. No, the application can helping for people who made the decision earlier. So the decision is not connected with application. Application can be only the support.
So you have to be ready to change if you want to change, yeah? So
okay. Yes, we adopted this approach because we were wondering why there are many people who download those applications, but actually they drop out and they don't use them anymore. And the problem was that those applications are not adjusted to your stage of change when you actually are, because when you begin to think about sustainable habits, about sustainable eating behaviors, you need to find out more how to do it, how can I make those little steps to be more sustainable in the area of my food consumption. And if you are aware sustainable consumption practitioner, you need other incentives to be encouraged to stay on this perfect path of consumption. So that is why we wanted to verify whether there is a connection between the state of change for green eating and the usage of mobile applications. And we found out that those mobile applications and other technological devices can actually be used as incentivization of green consumption, but they must be tailored to the state of change you actually currently are. So the content of the application, its functionality, should be adjusted to your state of change and as well support your decisions depending on the decisional balance that you are actually facing. So the decisional balance is related to the pros and cons of being sustainable in area of your food consumption. And it is different depending on the level of state of change you actually are. So that is why those incentives should be tailored actually. And this is the main finding of our study, that this mobile application can influence behavioral intention and can be used as interventions, behavioral interventions, in order to promote green consumption.
Okay, so did anything surprise you? So maybe your results you received are consistent with your expectation, or maybe not? Or what about literature? So if you can elaborate on this, please.
Okay, so first of all, to our knowledge, no research has been done which combines those three areas of unified of scale of acceptance of technology, decisional balance, and theoretical model of change. So we didn't find any research which combines those three aspects. But the results in terms of using a mobile application as supporting green eating and sustainable behaviors, the results are consistent, that a mobile application can serve as support, encouraging people to be more sustainable in terms of their behaviors. And as far as surprises are concerned, what was surprised, the average results for social influence construct in the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology scales, because it seems that Polish users, they do not have like role models who use those nutrition mobile applications and who can lead by example. So this influencer marketing is an area that should be exploited in promotional campaigns. So to trigger this social influence potential in terms of promoting sustainable consumption behaviors. And the second surprise was that the respondents found the nutrition mobile apps as safe to use, safe in terms of their data privacy. And the users of such applications demand sharing your private data. So they track consumers' behaviors and action. And actually, we were surprised that people feel so confident with using them, and they are not afraid of losing some or sharing private data. And in terms of discussion about the data leakages and misusage of data by the technological giants, it may be surprising that the respondents, they are not afraid of sharing their privacy.
Thank you very much for your answer. And maybe the last question, do you use such applications privately or not?
Okay, so I'm not so eager in using mobile applications, but I decided to use the application which supports my buyings, my purchases. So to be more sustainable in terms of choosing the food that is actually produced in more sustainable way. And Renata?
So similar. So I'm not so good in new technology. So it's strange because I conducted research in this area, but I have children, and my daughter, for example, use an application which help her and me too to cook with different products in our fridge, which have no long time which are not long for use, and it's easy and it's very funny when we put ingredients and we can see, okay, you have this and this product, you can use it for something good.
Like pizza, for example.
Like pizza, for example. Yes, and it's really nice to use this application, but it's not in my phone, it's on smartphone of my daughter.
Okay, so do you think that such applications can really support sustainable consumption?
Well, I think that especially for younger generations who use the application for everything, I would say, and they are more than us eager to share their data, because from my point of view, the major obstacle is that I don't want to share too much of my privacy with applications. So this is something which discouraged me of using those apps. But for the next generation, it is something that can totally change the way we consume food, because when we discuss, well, this research is a part of a bigger research project related to the Internet of Food. And when you connect the dots from different sources and different channels, and you can actually encourage people to be more sustainable, from buying to, proposing, as Renata said, some recipes that are using the leftovers and something which is not longer good for consuming, is something that really can change the way we buy food, the way we use food not to be wasted, and the way we have this impact on our environment.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a very important and very interesting topic. So once again, thank you very much for being here with me and being a part of this project. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you very much.
You are listening to EMAC Regional 2021 podcasts. My guests were Dr. Anna Rogala and Professor Renata Nestorowicz from Poznan University of Economics and Business, authors of paper Ready to Act and App for Sustainable Food Behaviours, a study of the attitudes of Polish consumers.